catch up as we go.
Absolutely. All right. Good morning and welcome to our Rochester Regional Advisory Committee for Advance to Apprenticeship. Thank you all for being here with us today. I am Brandy Solomon, the Employment Project Coordinator for the Strong Center of Developmental Disabilities with the University of Rochester. And I'm joined by my colleagues, Pat, our
Hi.
MACNY, oh, hi. Our MACNY consultant for the Manufacturer Alliance of New York, as well as Mayor Lee, the Director of Employment Programs at the Strong Center. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for watching on the replay to get these updates about Rochester and the project as a whole. So, Advance to Apprenticeship in Rochester, of course, works with the Center for Workforce Development. We started partnering with them in 2023, and we've been supporting inclusive recruitment into their existing courses of machining, fundamentals, manufacturing technician, and welding. We have had some challenges with getting students fully enrolled. We've had a lot of interest, but to date, we've had two students who have been enrolled and completed the welding course at the Center for Workforce Development, going through all of their requirements, which is that TABE, that test for adult basic education, definitely presents some concerns for some folks, but also being able to link them to employers in our community so that they can continue their employment journey. That there was low interest in enrolling for this spring semester, which started on February 11th. We did have a few students who wanted to explore Center for Workforce Development, but wanted to take that time that was needed to get everything set up for them to be able to begin courses in the fall. So with this spring semester, we have been working with CWD to involve current students with advanced to apprenticeship with the additional supports that and resources that we are able to connect students to. We're making sure, especially that any student at Center for Workforce Development who is already access involved or in need of extra support is being invited to work with us and have those additional resources. As I was saying, we are working still to support recruitment and enrollment for fall 2025. We have a few students who are registered for our preview day, which is occurring this week, and they'll have an opportunity to sit in the course of their interest and get a greater understanding of what the classroom structure will be like. At CWD, they're also gearing up for a new event. On April 1st, they will be holding a trade up event. It's an information event designed for high school seniors and their families to explore how skilled trades can lead to high demand, well paying jobs that fit their talents and interests. CWD has ensured that all of their BOCE students and the general community at a whole is invited to this opportunity to get that firsthand look of what training in the trades at CWD can look like. They'll also, the folks who attend on the 1st of April will also have an opportunity to hear from local experts in construction, manufacturing, and healthcare about what those skilled trades can do for them in creating a valuable career. On April 22nd, CWD Open House will occur, and all of their adult career training courses for fall enrollment will be on display. Potential students will have the opportunity to learn about tuition assistance via Rochester Works, if eligible, as well as be connected with the Disability Resource Coordinator for any additional employment resources if needed. We are excited to continue to watch the progression and development since our last meeting in December. Career Launch at CWD is a new program that the center really wants to get off the ground. They are pending funding. They applied to the Department of Labor for a grant to be able to upskill out of school youth. CWD also applied for an Access VR contract in the rebid to support pre-employment transition services for disabled youth who are eligible or potentially eligible for Access VR services. So again, we are excited to see this type of programming launch as it will provide all students with workplace skill development, those soft skills that are so greatly needed, in addition to any industry academic gap instruction. So if they're interested in going into manufacturing, making sure they understand how to use a ruler, if that's a part of their career, all those definite academic instructions that are needed to get to the next level in the career will be a part of that, as well as that general career exploration. CWD also proudly became a WorkKey site. So they are now providing new opportunities for those WorkKeys assessment that can lead students into a national career readiness certificate. We're very interested to see how this grows in our area and the linkage it can have directly to businesses to get talent who come with a certificate to show what they have been able to achieve. Our model is still the same, but this is definitely the model that has been highlighted the most in our partnership in the Utica area with the Mohawk Valley Community College. We've been able to share the A2A model to several different audiences, and we continue to accept opportunities to demonstrate the power of partnership as the backbone for success for Advanced to Apprenticeship. We have highlighted the direct entry pre-apprenticeship basic manufacturing program, like I was saying, that is in the Mohawk Valley Community College. And we were gracious enough to have the opportunity to do some recent presentations that included the business training, which was hosted by MACNY on February 27th, where business, uh-oh. It's telling me to move the window. So I'm like, what's happening? Can you see my slide? Why did it pause me?
I don't know.
Yeah, it looks like it went like the screen we were seeing was a dark gray.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. At least it gave me an alert. All right. That was on a roll. Let's start this over. Give us technical difficulties. All righty. Okay, everyone should be able to see it now.
It's trying.
Oh, is my computer not awake? There we go. All right. Take two. So for our advanced apprenticeship model that we've been sharing, we had the business training that was hosted by MACNY in February. We did that with our business relation representatives, Jen, who's here with us today, as well as Ashley, who represents the Syracuse area from Access VR. And we co-presented, along with myself, co-presented on unlocking greater potential for your workforce, highlighting the untapped workforce and talent that is within people of all diverse abilities. We were able to debunk some myths and provide resources to businesses. And we'll be offering a part two on April 24th that will be specific to explore recruitment and retention strategies for folks who we know have disabilities, but also those with invisible disabilities as well. The overall goal for every student that is involved with our program is employment first and having that access to employers who offer registered apprenticeship opportunities. We were also able to highlight Advanced to Apprenticeship on March 4th when we presented to UCLA. UCED, their University Center for Excellence in Developmental Disabilities, and the California Community Colleges to inspire similar program development. We had a great attendance with 179 folks on the webinar, so that was really great to be able to let them know what we're doing here in New York, kind of raise our pom-poms and encourage them to do the same. And on March 11th, we were able to present in New York State to our New York National Expansion of Employment Opportunities Network, that Neon Alliance group, and outline the program and the successes in working with our local disability resource coordinators via the Workforce Board. Shout out to Lindsay Murphy in the Rochester area, as well as being able to fold in those supports from Access VR, our New York Commission for the Blind, as well as OPWDD based on needs and eligibility. And we had about 21 folks attend that webinar. So we're definitely continuing to get the word out. And just last night, we were able, through the Strong Center, to offer a benefits planning presentation that we've been doing almost quarterly to make sure that that piece is constantly in our community, because we know that people can work while on benefits, but there's still so much misinformation about what that looks like and what needs to happen. So we'll be running back our business presentation, which is offered by Lisa Brown from the New York State NICE system, as well as Lindsay Murphy, our local disability resource coordinator, will offer that benefits planning webinar again in May 22nd to be exact. So we'll have information for that for you all to share and make sure folks know how to plan properly for their employment and financial growth. Pat.
So since you talked a little bit about Mohawk Valley, we thought we would share the good news from there too in regards to numbers. The Rochester program being so different is important because it's in its own right doing what it needs to do for your area, and we're still building connections for future work with apprenticeship in the manufacturing using the design that Brandy was just discussing. So here's a little outcome information for you. We had, as it says, 3 cohorts with a total of 25 participants who have completed. In doing that, as it shows here, 100% of our students achieved an OSHA 10 certification through the first 2 cohorts classes. And now we've added into that the program the ability for the students to actually become certified manufacturing associates, or CMFGA. Say that 5 times fast, and I'll dare you, because it's not easy. For cohort 3 and beyond, 3 of the students actually did obtain that certification. So you can see the premise behind our program is to help students gain certification. So we're helping them create a career pathway. Not everyone's going to get the same thing. Not everyone's going to do it on the same timeline. And one of our goals has always been about personalizing this and making sure we're meeting students where they're at. In cohort 1, there were 7 students. And in cohort 2, 10 students. Our third cohort, 8 students, with all 8 interviewing and getting a job. 16 of the 17 in 1 and 2 also received jobs. So we're doing that employment first piece that we talked about. They got jobs in manufacturing. It was also a young man that got a job at the Department of Defense in finance services. He had been working in the manufacturing world and really wasn't sure if it was for him. And in the process of going through our pre-apprenticeship program, which is focused, as Suzanne likes to always encourage us to around the essence of transition and learning and exploring what it is to be in the manufacturing world, he learned that maybe that wasn't where he really wanted to go, and ended up using his talents in the Department of Defense Finance Services instead. So we helped him see a new path for his future. Also, the New York State Emergency Preparedness was a place that someone got a job, as well as the CIL Apprenticeship in Human Resources. So a different kind of apprenticeship, not manufacturing, but in the CIL area of human resources. We did have one young man that in presenting his needs, before we could get him a job, we needed to give him some more wraparound services. So we wanted to reinforce that this program isn't about just teach him, train him, place them and get them a job. It's also looking at the whole person. And he is still in a situation right now, being supported by one of the agencies in the Utica area to help him look at housing as well as some case management supports before he actually makes that final leap into paid employment, which is very, very important to him. So we haven't lost sight of that, but we wanted to emphasize that the program is not just about straight employment, but about making sure employment is successful for people. Continuing education, well, when people first get to a community college, they may not have all had a very positive high school experience, is what we've learned. And yet, at the same time, once they get to the college and they find out how inviting it is, how supportive it is, that there's services and supports all around, notwithstanding what's in the program design, we saw several of our students in the cohorts actually take on additional courses, tried to fast track. Actually, another one took some courses in robotics. So we've been inviting them to explore their own pathways and interests. And the community college is definitely a place that offers those kinds of supports. Next. So what's coming up next? I'm sure aware that MACNY, we've shared this, but I'll remind you that MACNY has actually been recognized as direct entry. We had to file our application to be recognized by the Department of Labor to do that. So MACNY has the A2A statewide collaborative now. We're overseeing working with other programs. There's someone right there in the Rochester area from Tyrone Reeves, and his YAM program is also involved. We are looking at supporting those entities that are exploring the world of manufacturing and offering pre-apprenticeship opportunities to make sure it's happening at a couple other SUNY colleges. So we get together on a quarterly basis to look at what they're doing and how can the project and our last year of sustainability be making sure that this is ingrained in the manufacturing industry, the education industry, as well as the rehabilitation system, to make sure that we're not going to drop off. Too often projects get started, they have a shelf life, and then we forget. So we're using this last year, thanks to the direction and the leadership from MACNY, to look at those kinds of things in a systematic statewide basis. And so the collaborative was an idea that I'm going to give credit where credit is due to Mara Lee, and said, Pat, we can't just let this fall apart. We've got to keep people connected and working together. So we're hoping in this last year of sustainability, by bringing together uniquely abled from California, but it's got an academy now working at Hudson Valley Community College, Tyrone and the work that he's doing in the Rochester area, to SUNY Ulster, who helped us look at the initial design back in the day, Barb Rear. So, and then even invited David Hoff from the Institute for Community Inclusion because of the work that he was doing on a national level. So we're making sure that the New York model all the way around, not just what happened in Utica, but also what's happening in Rochester, to be on the forefront of everybody's vision for the future, including people with a diverse ability to be a part of manufacturing. Transition planning is certainly a huge piece. And at Mohawk Valley Community College, their student access office actually has a direct contract with VR to support transition services. And so I'm psyched to see Suzanne joining us today, and I can't wait to have her. I'm going to pitch to her right now. She doesn't know it. She's ready for it though, because she always is. She knows what I'm like. Is there anything in the transition world that we need to be aware of for the Rochester region and in general for the state as a whole, as we're moving forward in 2025?
Well, as you know, we have a new contract that's in its first year for pre-employment transition services, are now the potentially eligible are now part of the contract. And I think I spoke to that last time. So there are a number of vendors statewide. We, went from 20 vendors in our previous contract to 127 in our current contract. And you mentioned the rebid, which I can't speak to that, but there, one thing I'll say is, if there is anybody on the line who was part of the rebid, if it goes through, please reach out to me for the potentially eligible if you put in for that, because that or the pre-ets, because there has to be a referral form vetted and approved through myself in central office, and our manager Patrick Shepherd. So just Jen, you're on the line too. I don't know, you're very familiar with the Rochester area in particular. If you want, I don't want to steal the show, but if there's
No, no.
anything you want to add, please do.
No, I would just say anyone, local. Julia Rude is the senior transition counselor from the Rochester office, so she would be your liaison and go-to person for any specific, questions. Like Suzanne said, I know we can't speak to the current RFP, but if people have questions and they're already a vendor, definitely reach out to Julia.
Perhaps we should invite Julia to join this, Jen and Suzanne. Do you think that would, since it's Rochester specific, would that be of value?
She has been, yeah, she's been before, so I'm not sure about today
Yeah.
if she's maybe she has a conflict on her calendar.
All right,
But I know
I'll
I
double
think
check with her.
Marilee, you can, and I think you guys have had her, and Brandy.
Okay.
I believe, yeah.
Okay, good enough.
Certainly. Hmm.
We'll do. I think because I know from the work that's happening in the Mohawk Valley area and the direct contract that happened at Mohawk Valley Community College, college students have become a big part of that potentially eligible crew. Because they up to their the age limit that is available under pre-ed. So and
Right.
I see Rich has joined us too today this morning. So being able to look at ways to create that perfect wraparound that plays out the way you've always advertised it as we've been moving with this project. So thank you very much
No,
for your advocacy.
yeah, and I can just to remind everybody about FAPE, was increased in New York State, so it's up to the age of 22 for a student who is in secondary, so it matches for the college level. So it's at, that's where we can have more students that are in post-secondary, and that's very exciting, definitely.
Yeah, it very much is because when we first started all the conversation about pre-ets, they're always in school. So how can we support them? And there wasn't the ability. So now actually reaching out to the college access offices and encouraging them to work with organizations around this, and especially in your area, you've got a few colleges that like manufacturing, and do offer those programs. So could we figure out ways to support them? So MACNY is looking forward to continuing its work with RTMA and exploring all those kinds of opportunities because the funding is there to support those students in their pre-workup and their post, as they move along. So we'll be coming to your neighborhood again in a very short period of time. So thank you for the update. And last but not least, bragging about Rich, there he is right there at the top left of my screen, I think in yours as you're looking at it, RTMA. What we want to make sure you understand is that the Manufacturers Association of Central New York has alliance members, and you are all very familiar with RTMA and the work that they do there in the Rochester area. But we'll also have all the rest of these folks around the state, and we're looking to build alliance partners within each of them. One of the things we recently did, and we were supported completely by the Department of Labor, was ask for the asset maps that the disability resource coordinators were asked to complete as part of a deliverable in regards to that project. And I'm happy to report that of the 13 regions around the state that are played up in that way, there's 48 counties. We've got about 20 asset maps already been shared with us, including the Rochester one. So thank you to Lindsay and Lee for supporting this project in that way. It will enhance our advisory capacity to make sure that we're doing the proper wraparound. We are anticipating some expansion later this year, and Rochester is one of the first regions, of course, that will be moving into using some other kinds of state funding, notwithstanding what already is happening here with the Council on Developmental Disabilities funding in the last year for sustainability. So if you have any questions or if you're working with any colleagues in any other regions, Rich is the person to go to, and he can connect you to the other alliance members. Colleen Blagg, who I report to and has joined us on the call as well as my supervisor from MACNY to look at the kinds of things. We are always looking for more businesses to join and be a part of the Manufacturing Association, and that they have an interest in diversifying and working with diverse abilities in their workforce. Reach out to Rich, reach out to Colleen or myself, and we'll be happy to add those businesses into the process of what we're doing. Any other thoughts from anyone in regards to businesses? I saw Katie's on from Arc Monroe. There's been an approach by Chad to encourage participation by your business to be part of what's going down at MACNY. We're excited to grow that relationship and partnership as it makes sense for your businesses.
Pat, is there a video or a presentation that was created for employers? Is there something that was created to educate employers that we
About
about this project and about I'm not really sure. There was something that was mentioned about just, educating employers. Is there no,
Brandy.
not ringing a bell?
Yeah, so the part with
Oh,
employers was the business training that we did that
business
was,
training.
yeah,
Yep.
more about giving them information on the untapped talent that
Okay.
includes people from you with the unique abilities as well as accommodations, discussions, and debunking some of those myths, making sure that all businesses are aware that
Mm-hmm.
they have a direct line to access VR to be able to get additional supports and resources to get, have that inclusive recruitment, but also to ensure that they are using retention strategies that support workers of all kinds. So,
Is
But
that
we also,
available publicly? Is that available somewhere where we could share that?
I can check. So it was hosted by MACNY.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm.
I'm not
but
sure if was recorded, but you do lead to a idea.
Mm-hmm.
but
What were you
that we
saying,
can we
Pat?
can definitely I will follow up with Colleen and Lindsay on that for you, Shauna. But we also have the video from Fala that really speaks to all that, Brandy. And you can
Mm-hmm.
probably you or Mary Lee, could you drop that in the chat for us? And then Shauna would have that. That's
Mm-hmm.
our fun, that actually has individuals themselves working at Fala Technology
Mm-hmm.
talking about how they were supported by
Right.
a program like STEPS, which is what they have, but it is all related to the kinds of things that kick started all this work that we've been doing. So
Yeah, and I know Carrie's on here is Carrie on here from our TMA? And
yeah.
I wonder if, and Rich is on here as well, but I wonder if that's something that might be shared with, some of the employers that they're working with.
So just so you guys know, about a year or so ago, we did an event with a bunch of people where we had about a dozen or so businesses, and we do have a presentation on
Mm-hmm.
file. I have checked my shared drive. It is something that, we do bring up on occasion with
Mm-hmm.
businesses. I actually just had two participants from Access VR complete our precision measurement course that we did over at the Forward Center. And, with those folks, we're going to have some opportunity hopefully for placement. One's going to take the summer pre-apprenticeship program over in Batavia because he's from this region, wants to get some more skills before he goes into the workforce. The other person, I believe may already be working in manufacturing. We've also used the SUNY pre-apprenticeship program for one person at one of our signatory companies. We're trying to get him into the apprenticeship, but he wants to go more toward the welding route, even though his company doesn't have like a full-time welder. Just an opportunity that he would like to do. But I can share that with the group, and I do know that most folks here were kind of included on it at some point.
Okay.
We had that, but I can share that with the group. I was in transit and I just sat down, so to speak. I've been out in the Batavia region for most of the morning, so we do have some stuff that we can share. And then I know Carrie probably can't speak because she's at the event that I'm on my way to.
Got it.
So
Well, when you get a chance, if you want to just send it to Brandy, and then we'll make sure that it gets out to everybody.
I'm pretty sure Brandy might have a copy of it because I believe we posted that event together. But I will
Oh,
send it. I will send it over.
all right. Bring it to the top of her inbox, Rich. Thank you, dear.
Exactly. We can do that.
And certainly we have coming up is the state advisory. So if you're comfortable we'd love to brag about Rochester, so we would love to
Yeah.
share it with the state folks too to show off what's going on in Rochester. So
Definitely, yeah. Let me know what you guys need on my end.
okay, awesome, awesome.
And
Was
Rich,
that
I just
the
wanna, oh, I was gonna say, Rich, I just wanna say thank you for,
Mhm.
sharing resources because I know Rich just shared that there's two individuals that completed the 2 week program. And so he had shared the flyer with me and just in conversation with a couple of our counselors, it was like perfect timing. And so again, I just always reiterate how important, networking, sharing resources are because even if there's a program and it's going to start 8 months down the road, just for it always to be like in our emails or resending events because Suzanne, I know you can attest, especially at Access VR, we get so many emails. And so to remember something, so I know for myself, I love like seeing repeat email like events like, hey, reminder, like this event is coming up. And because too, as we're working with new customers, like I might not have a customer I'm aware of that has an interest in welding today, but maybe 3 months down the road, all of a sudden we get a new customer that really has some interest. So I would, I guess encourage everyone, even in this group, if you see things, share it within our group,
Yep.
our advisory.
Thank you, Jen. I was going to just say, a drop to one. It doesn't have to be to everybody. If you can't remember, where to find that thing, just even making sure that Brandy or Marilee or I, because we're in the Rochester area, I mean, then we'll make sure we get it out to our lists as well. So it doesn't require everybody to know everybody's list, that kind of stuff.
Hey,
Cool.
Shauna, if you have a group of businesses that you think would really want a presentation, that business presentation is a two-part series and it was created in partnership with Jen Geiger at Access VR. So
Mm,
Brandy and Jen are doing that presentation together. And so if you have a group of businesses, that's
mhm.
something we can set up easily.
Okay. Yeah, it was what was the name of the steakhouse we went to or the
Well, that was the
restaurant?
monocles. Yeah.
Yes, that was a
Mhm.
good event, I thought, with our TMA because
Oh,
I thought that was a good networking event for us and, just a way to get the word out. I think it would be good to do something like that on a regular basis, but
well, Rich, you, me, and Carrie could chat a little
mhm,
bit because it was the connection that
yeah.
we have of the owners of Delmonico's, so we might be able to
Hmm.
introduce some people and see what they can do. They're very, very supportive of uh, diverse abilities of
Hmm.
a workforce. Let's just put it that way. So, the gal that is the wife of the owner is a former Oneida Lewis Arc employee. So
Yeah, and
she's she's walked the walk for a long, 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 long time. So. Mhm.
it might be good to highlight some businesses from this area who have, been very involved, especially in employing some of our students, just to highlight. I mean, I know we've highlighted Fala a lot, but that's not in this area. And I think there's
Right.
probably some employers that are doing some wonderful things in this area. So I think that would be, a great way to highlight how some of the other business owners and, businesses are doing this.
Yep, and
Awesome.
we do, I know, Brandon, if you want to
Hmm.
interject, that was something that we
Hmm.
did, share success
Mm.
stories,
Hmm.
within both of our regions, because, yeah, Shauna, to your
Yeah.
point, the businesses in Rochester want to hear,
Hmm.
who in their region, and then that way, if they have questions,
Yes.
could reach out to, let's say business A, it's something new, they're interested, they're not sure how to go about. And then we're sharing a success story about Optimax, for example. And
Hmm.
so now they're like, oh, okay, let me reach out to my friend at Optimax and kind of get some of their feedback. As well. So
Hmm.
yes, we definitely share success stories, share a
Yeah.
variety of different ways that we've worked with businesses. I know Ashley had shared a manufacturing business providing accommodations and how they provided the reasonable accommodations for someone who had acquired a disability in their manufacturing workspace. They weren't injured on the job. They acquired a disability outside of work, but their workstation needed to be accommodated, and how it really
Yeah.
cost nothing. So it was a great
Yeah.
story that Ashley had shared. Because Brandy, I know you talked about the piece, like, yes, we're trying to get people in the door, but then also there's services we can provide to businesses, including retention services. And so we want to share that information with businesses so they see that the business relationship really is integral for a lot of different ways and different employees. And as we know, people acquire disabilities and medical conditions. So we can be that sort of go-to point person for businesses too. And then Lee, I'm just thinking too, like Lindsay and I do the business series. So that's been like a huge success. We've had like 100 people on those, and every month we present on a various disability topic. We just did one on the use of AI and making sure that businesses that are using AI, platforms, making sure that they're accessible and being aware of how they while AI can be positive, I think I saw when we joined the meeting, AI is taking notes today. So there's definitely positive, things
Yep.
to help us with efficient work tasks. But then we also know AI can also weed out strong candidates and such. So Lindsay and I have, included a lot of different topics, and we share that with our business networks. And so again, I think that's been helpful because Lee, I know Lindsay and I, again, every month we have really high numbers of businesses attending.
Neat. Shauna, I think that
Yeah.
meets your needs. Yes, woman. I'm glad you asserted yourself and asked for some clarification. We got to keep on top of. Well, we're all so busy
Yeah.
doing so many different things that even Jen said, "Don't hesitate." I know I already get 1,500 emails a day. I want 500 more because it'll remind me. I'm being facetious, but it'll remind
Yeah.
me that something else is there, and I've got to send it to someone. I didn't catch it on the first round, so. If everybody's comfortable with that, then you do it. If you're not, then you assert yourself and say, I don't need any more. I'll wait to hear from Brandy or from Mary Lee because they know Rochester better than anybody else when it comes to this stuff. Whatever it is your needs
Yep.
are, please. This is an advisory committee. I mean, we like to do a lot of report out in regards to showing you that we're doing what we're supposed to be doing under this grant, but ultimately we're in the Rochester area because we want to make sure it fits the Rochester area. So if there's thoughts or things that are going on in your realm that you either have as a resource and want to add to the project and or you need support. You heard Marilee say she can, at U of R, create that presentation for businesses that she offered to Shauna. We are ready, willing, and able to do as much as we possibly can to keep this idea, this momentum, this energy around manufacturing having a workforce with diverse abilities. So please just ask.
Yeah, I also think there's an opportunity. I don't know if you've been able to connect with the folks in Genesee County, but I do think that there's an opportunity to grow a partnership in that area as well. So hopefully that has, I don't know if you've been able to connect with them, but
And
I
you're
do
referring to
think
the college or to Genesee Community College?
Yes.
um,
Well, no,
it's
the best center, right? The not best.
no, it's actually the Economic Development
Mhm.
Council.
We did meet with someone from down there. Um, so yes,
Okay.
definitely
Okay.
making sure that that connection is made for Genesee
hmm
County with MACNY as the expansion is happening within that area and the Rochester area. So that
Yeah.
was a great lead, Shauna.
Yeah,
With
Sheila.
they're doing. Yep, we definitely met with Sheila.
Okay,
Yes.
good. Yeah, because there's a lot of like talent and energy in that area, and RTMA also has a relationship with them and works with
Mhm.
them, so that's a good partnership as well.
Great.
hmm
Thank you, Shauna.
hmm
Anything else for the good of the order? Otherwise, I'm going to give you 15 minutes back to your day. get another cup of coffee.
Mhm.
Thank you all.
Drive safely, Rich, or you're there already if you're sorry.
I'm here
Okay.
actually. I'm about 5 minutes to walk away from Carrie to meet her at the event that we're at. So thank you, everyone. And I just sent the presentation over to Brandy via email. So
Awesome. Awesome. Awesome.
Great.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
All right. Thank
We're
you all
all
again.
multitaskers, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
Hey,
Yes, we are. If there's other
yes,
stuff though,
yes.
and you have the email, you can just hit, a reply all and send us notes that way too, that it'll work. So thank you all for your
All right.
support. Thank you for all you do. Hang in there and we'll see you in 3 months. Unless there's something else you need from us, we will greatly appreciate being your partner. Take care.
All right. Thank
All
you.
right. Thanks,
Bye.
everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Brandy, you did such a beautiful job. Did I saw that you recorded this. Will you share the recording?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Once, I'm trying to see if I can